Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for an all new episode recap of today's Days of Our Lives, February 20th, 2026. I apologize for the late upload, but here we are. Let's get into it. So, Ivan and what's his face at this point, because I don't know if he had a name or anything, but the henchman that's responsible for the Demir kidnappings, he's there talking to Ivan, who is Vivian's right hand man, and he's explaining to him that he has to go to Salem to take care of some loose ends because he doesn't want it to get tied back to Vivian. And of course, they're looking for him. They want to pin him to the disappearances, and he has to make sure that it's not going to go back to Vivian. So Ivan understands this, and he also has some loose ends to tie up too, because he heard that Dimitri and an accomplice is in Alemania. So the man is asking him, hey, you want me to take care of him? And he said, no, I will take care of him personally. Kat and Rafe also meet up and they talk about her dinner with EJ and how it went, and she said that they were getting closer in terms of him remembering his time in Italy with her, and it led him to open up more, kind of trust her more. And they were interrupted. She didn't get into why they were interrupted, but EJ was a lot more open, that he could actually trust her with a lot more, but he still had the information close to his chest regarding the lab and what he's really up to. Now Rafe understands how it is, and they talk about Dimitri and Leo running off, and on a personal note, he's bothered by it because Leo used his relationship with his cousin Javi to really help this guy to escape yet again. Now Kat asked him if he was going to go back to Alemania, but he said no, so much things is going on here, and besides, Paul and Andrew, they're in Alemania trying to look for them. So they talk about getting access to the secret lab, and of course EJ didn't tell Kat anything about that, but she got a device from the ISA that would help them to decode the numbers that is used to open up the lab. So Rafe said that he will get it analyzed, but she said she already is closer to EJ and it would look suspicious if Rafe went ahead and did it. So he said, okay, just be careful. She said, always. So she went to the lab, and she's getting closer to finding out the secret code to open up the lab. So let's see where this goes out. Now, speaking of EJ, Jada paid them a visit to basically provide a warrant to search Dimitri's room. She asked EJ if he had known of his whereabouts, that he actually escaped to Alemania with Leo. So he didn't know that happened, but at the same time, he's not going to be very welcoming for him now that he knows that Dimitri's connected to the disappearances of him and his family. So he is all for the law to, throw the book at Dimitri at this point. He has no loyalty, none whatsoever, even though they're related by blood. So, anyways, she asks if, she's okay to search the place, or her officers to search the areas, and he said yes, as long as it's within limits. She also asked him if he recognized the man from the mugshot or the sketch, and he said no, he didn't see that person at all. Now Rita stopped by, and EJ filled her in on what's been going on with knowing that Dimitri and Leo are in Alemania, and also they're still cooking up a plan to make sure Vivian paid for her role in their disappearances, and he doesn't care about if they have a extrajudicial treaty among them and the states. He's gonna do out his due justice towards Vivian and whoever was responsible, right? So he talks about the will and it being probated soon, and she's like, are you worried about it? He said no, he was the one who actually drafted it up before father's departure, and also he knows the terms, the details, so at this point he's not worried about it. And she's like, are you going to be done with Gwen after this? And he said possibly, but also we need to come up with a plan to make sure that Dimitri does not pin back any kind of information on me or Gwen that we were responsible for his kidnapping and all of that. So Rita agrees with all that, and he also talked to her about the fact that Stefan, Drake, and Peter are no longer alive. So That leaves a few demurs out of the running for what's included in Stefano's will, and he tells Rita that don't worry, you will get your due portion for all the work that you put in, and she is happy to hear that. And I really agree, because Rita's definitely been EJ's henchwoman. She has really ruled with the Demir family through thick and thin, and she deserves a comeuppance. So anyways, he talks to her about Kat, and that he's drawn to her for somehow because they were at the same facility recovering, and the memories are foggy, but at the same time, when she was reading the book to him, he felt drawn to her, and he wonders if she was the reason why he didn't feel the same way for Sammy, or fall out of love. So he's just having all these puzzling questions at this point. Now, Gabby was also in the square, and she was on the phone with her staff talking about the design. She also was on the phone with Philip, wanting to see him later on. So they are definitely happier in love since their Valentine's Day visit or trip. So Jada comes over, catches up with her, and she asks her how was the trip in Miami, and she said it could have gone worse because of how I was feeling about Stefan's death and everything involved with it. I was a ball of mess, and I was an emotional wreck, and Philip was just there to hold me down, support me. He was my knight in shining armor. So I really enjoyed my time with him, and Jada is happy to hear that. Jada tells her that she deserves the best, and she said, I don't know if I do, but I'm very lucky because of my romantic track record. And then Phillips, it's really crazy how we got together, and I just don't want it to be messed up, given that in my past romantic relationships I'm always waiting for the other shoe to drop. And Jada understands that, she can relate. Of course, Gabby will always miss her with Rafe, but she understands that Jada wanted to move on. They needed to move on at this point. They've been through a lot, and she's happy to hear that Jada is happy with Tio and that it went well with him the other night, and they're looking forward to having this double trivia date night together, whatever, later on. So Gabby also came home, and Rafe could tell that she's also in a good mood. She had a great time at her Valentine's Day trip with Philip, and they're getting closer, and spotted this new bracelet that she got as a Valentine's gift from Philip. And she said that Philip gets her, she gets him, and they've been through a lot of bad romantic relationships, and they understand each other a lot more. They connect a lot better, and he brings out the best qualities in her, and he's glad to see that she's happy. Now he gets a notification that the handwriting thing has come in, and they find out that it's inconclusive. They still need more handwriting samples to make sure that it actually can conclude whether or not that's Stefan's handwriting. Is it forged? Is it not? So she's now in limbo, because she really wants to know or have some closure that Stefan really was getting back to her, or Stefan was really interested in her. And I'm saying, either way, why do you care? Either way, like, you're in this committed relationship with Philip, you're happy, you're moving closer towards being in love with him. So why does it matter what happens with Stefan and whether or not you need closure from that? Because you guys have separated, and you were good without him. So what is this gonna prove for you, Gabby? Last but not least, Dimitri and Leo, they have made their way in Alemania. Of course, the place is given what it's given, and they're not really happy with how the condition of the hotel room is. Like, it's given what do you call it, Hotel Transylvania vibes. And they're talking about how they're gonna go about finding out that he's innocent. So Dimitri suggested that they go over to Vivian's place, and Leo is not really liking it because he knows of Vivian's reputation, and Dimitri is not fearful of it at all because he has dealt with more dangerous people than Vivian, and he has a gun. And at the end of the day, he is not really there to talk to her. He wants to talk to the staff, and he has the money, he has the way how to make people talk or threaten them, and Leo has the way how to get the truth out of them with his gift of gab. Now earlier he had on the EMT shirt that Harvey used to wear, and it's triggering to Leo. And he can't believe that he helped Dimitri out in this way by using Harvey's uniform to betray him in a way. And Dimitri understood. He took it off. He also respected Leo's boundaries to not be in the same bed, and he took the floor. And Leo's surprised by that. But Dimitri said after all that he has done to risk his loyalty, his freedom, his life, all of his livelihood, he owes him that. Now they go over to Vivian's estate, and Ivan is awaiting them, and Dimitri wants to meet Madame. The best line of the day was with Leo when he said to Ivan, I see what you did with the place. It's giving Count Dracula vibes. And I just I had to laugh at that because it honestly looked drab and dreary. And Yvonne is saying how it was done with good taste, and I'm saying, wow, they really don't care about having a little light in the house, right? My gosh, it's just giving drab and dreary. Now anyways, Dimitri wants to meet with Vivian, and Yvonne says she doesn't want to meet with him at all, and he just feel like it's just a waste of time. He does invite them to have tea, and of course they didn't drink it because they feel like it's laced with poison. And Dimitri's like, okay, if you're drinking it and you're not feeling any type of way, drink from mine. So he refuse, and he knows that okay, you're up to something. So at this point he tells Leo, let's go, it's a waste of our time here. And it's just so pathetic how you're just loyal to this woman and you just don't have a life of your own. And he said, me and Madame have been going on for all this time, and we've always had good fortune together and blah blah blah. We all know how Vivian and Ivan have been there since the 80s. But anyways, Dimitri takes Leo back outside and said, you know what, it's a waste of our time, but definitely this is not over by a long shot. Let Madame know that. But anyways, guys, this is it for today's episode. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys not tomorrow, next Monday. All right, have a good one.